Konzelman, let's start with you. What we have heard asserted in this meeting that there is no pattern of discrimination and censorship against conservative views or against pro-life views. That assertion seems manifestly contrary to all the available evidence, although I would note that the social media companies keep much of the evidence in a black box where we're forced to argue by example rather than what would be preferable, arguing based on the actual data. But let's focus on your example, because that is one specific and immediate example. The movie Unplanned tells the true story of Abby Johnson. Abby Johnson was the clinic director of the Waco Planned Parenthood Clinic. She was not just briefly a Planned Parenthood employee. She spent, as I understand it, 7 years working for Planned Parenthood. She was named Employee of the Year by Planned Parenthood. But then, horrified by the practices she saw at Planned Parenthood, by what she saw happen, she left the abortion industry and has become an outspoken pro-life advocate. I will say, when I attended a screening and watched the movie, it was one of the most powerful and moving movies I have ever seen. I thought I was prepared to see the movie, and I was not. As I understand it, virtually every TV network refused to carry trailers for the movie. They blocked you from advertising the movie. Twitter took your page down, an undisputed fact for which Twitter apologized here today. And not only that, but both Abby Johnson and Ashley Brasher, the actress who plays Abby Johnson in the movie, were prevented from following the Twitter page for the movie. Is all of that correct? Am I understanding the facts correctly?
Yes, with only the most minor corrections. She was actually the clinic director of Bryan, Texas. Okay. It was 8 years for her whole stint there, from volunteer to clinic director, and I think that's about the only amendments I would make to what you just said.
And what were the consequences, in particular, of Google preventing you from advertising? As you noted, Google itself touts that its advertisements are very effective. What consequences did you face from that censorship?
Well, given that there's blanket and kind of systematic censorship, social media was where we turned to. We assumed that we would be allowed to engage in a commercial transaction. Having the money to buy advertising, we assumed we'd be able to buy advertising. And even though certain news organizations have treated us with tremendous journalistic respect, there's a psychological mechanism in the mind of a movie ticket buyer. Until they see some paid advertising, they don't really associate that it is a real movie and that it's coming out at a particular date. And you need to try to create somewhere between, estimates go between 8 and 12 impressions. So we were not able to create those impressions very easily for that market.
And as I understand it, despite this almost total social media blackout, although you did give credit to Facebook for not engaging in this practice, and despite this almost total media blackout, the film nonetheless in its opening weekend became the #5 selling movie in the country, despite concerted efforts to prevent moviegoers from hearing about it.
It was actually #4, and when the numbers got finalized, we thought it was 5. It actually jumped to #4 when the numbers were finalized. And just so I can give a relative measure of what I believe the importance of the film is, before it aired, Michael Ferris, who's the president of the Alliance Defending Freedom, had said, "I believe this is the cultural event that can overturn Roe." Now, that would thrill some and scare others. But I will say that after about 10 days in release, or a couple more now, we have had approaches through Abby Johnson's organization, and then there were none, which transitions workers out of the abortion industry. I believe we have something approaching 1% of the abortion workers in the United States seeking help to leave the industry. Now, that's based partly on a hard number and partly on an estimate. The number of actual workers who have reached out is 94. I believe there's something on the order of about 700 clinics nationwide. If they all had 12 employees, I wasn't a math major, but I think we still get to about a little better than 1%. So I think on the order of 1% of the abortion workers in the United States, after getting one look at them being portrayed on film, and it serves, I think, also some evidence that they're not being portrayed as monsters, have decided to change their lives and their profession and what they do for a living.
That is truly extraordinary, and let me commend you. One of the things that I liked best about the film is that it was not a cartoonish portrayal, that it was compassionate. It was compassionate to workers like Abby who were working for Planned Parenthood, although it displayed the practices of Planned Parenthood that pressure women into having abortions and sometimes against what they would otherwise wish for.
That was our attempt. Abby was very firm that she wanted this film to be a love letter to those who are still trapped in the industry.
Congresswoman Musgrave,